Hello and welcome back. If this is your first time watching this YouTube clip, I'm Chris Smith and I source buy-to-let property deals all over the UK in different areas, not just traditional buy-to-lets. We do student investments, HMO investments, and also serviced accommodation and holiday lets, of course, which we manage ourselves if you've been involved on these YouTube clips. Now, this month we're going to be talking about student property. Now, I've got a student property that I've been looking at over Christmas. Happy New Year, by the way, if we've not spoke. But we've been looking at over Christmas. The kids were driving me insane, all four of them, during the Christmas period with all the presents and gifts. I also got some great news that I'm expecting my fifth child on Christmas Day. So, obviously not on Christmas Day, but we had the news that my partner's pregnant and I'm expecting my fifth child. I nearly fell off my chair, but I've got a lot of plans and preparations. We're planning to move house this year as well, so got my hands full at the moment. But during that period, I was looking at a student investment. It's been on my radar for a while. I've been doing a lot of research on it. It's probably one of the best student properties that I've ever come across in terms of location. It's fully managed. There's a lot of investment going on in the area as well. And it's situated in the northeast part of England. But I was on site today. It was absolutely freezing. It was snowing, hailstoning. So I hope you appreciate my site visit. I'll be showing you around the area, including the images of the site itself. It's going to be complete at the end of this year, so investors can enjoy the upcoming sort of development with that area. And it gives you time to do a bit of research on it as well. But like with all student properties, they have got a lot of bad press in recent years. There's just not enough accommodation. You'll see articles from the likes of the BBC where the government have fallen back dramatically on supplying student accommodation for students. Obviously, it's great for investors that are buying properties, especially near a university or university campus, because rents have shot up completely through the roof, and it's good for you because obviously you can capitalise on those high returns for the long term, especially if you've bought in the right area. Now, this area that I'm going to be touching on, it's an absolute gold mine. I mean, you couldn't get any closer to the university. At the end of the clip on the site, I will get into the responsibilities of a landlord. What does it mean to buy a student investment? What are the benefits? What sort of responsibilities fall on your shoulders? If you're aware of my properties that I've sold in the past over the last year or so, we only get involved with student property that is accredited by the university. So these are properties that you're not going to find on Rightmove. They're completely off market and the university is involved. That just means that as and when the students enrol, they're then placed into your apartment. It pretty much guarantees your student tenants every single year. And it's a no-brainer. As I mentioned, completely hands-off and fully managed. But let's get into the video clip on the site. I'll show you what I can. And then at the end, towards the end, I'll get into the ins and outs of the responsibilities and what it means to buy student investment. But enjoy the clip, guys. We are in Huddersfield. It's right in the northeast part of the UK. We are today looking at a student development right behind us, actually. That building there to my right is going to be a site called The Vision, 198 self-contained studio apartments. Very well located. You might ask, what is the building being constructed behind me? That's going to be a new campus, new university campus of Huddersfield. They're going to be bringing in another 2,000 students every single year. As you can see, well under construction, so that's going to be complete in the next 12 months. As well as the site, this building here is going to be for student accommodation. So any students coming into this area, onto this new campus, of course, this building, The Vision, is going to be the first pick. Now, I will be showing CGI images of what this building is going to look like. It doesn't look attractive at the moment, but I promise it will be. They are doing a lot of external work as well. It's going to be steel cladding, so it's going to look quite modern as well on the outside. We've actually got a letter as well from the university that do highlight this area, what's coming into the area, what's being developed currently for students. So we're talking about 2,000 new students every single year, as well as between 300 to 400 new staff members that are going to be working here as well. But what's important to you is this, obviously, building. Student properties around sort of £86,000. We have got an incentive at the moment as well, £5,000 off the price, and you get an 8.5% rental guarantee for the next 3 years. So you can sit back, enjoy the returns, fully managed, and the properties do come fully furnished as well. So just a quick recap, as you're aware, it's roughly £87,000 and there's a five grand discount at the moment, so you're likely to pay around £82,000 with an 8.5% net rental guarantee. That just means that it's completely hands off. You simply get that return. You don't have to worry about maintenance. or service charges or anything like that, or management fees. It's already deducted from out of the gross return, and you simply get your 8.5% net rental agreement for the next 3 years. They can do that and offer that, as you're aware, because of the location. You're going to be guaranteed tenants every single year in this building. If you look at the area, this is the main university itself, Huddersfield. That's accommodating over 20,000 students. I was quite shocked at the student numbers, to be honest. But yes, 20,000 students accommodate this university, main university, and the Vision itself is only a 5-minute walk. Now, although there is a lack of supply in Huddersfield itself, it's great that there's the 2,000 extra students that are coming right next door to where the building is. The new Health Innovation Centre that's being built in Huddersfield. You can research it yourself online, and that's well underway at the moment as well, as you can see from the site video that I took. But yeah, an extra 2,000 students, and you get a rental guarantee of 8.5%, and it comes fully managed and completely hands-off. Now, it's an absolute goldmine. As you can see, I don't think I've ever had a development or an accommodation like this so close to the campus. You can do research. We have got a letter as well from the University of Huddersfield, which I can share with you on a PDF file, where it's basically complementing the Vision, the accommodation, because it's desperately needed, not just for Huddersfield main university, but to help piggyback on top of the Health Innovation Centre that students are going to need accommodation. Now, when you're looking at student accommodation, or looking at this one in particular, it is going to have steel exterior, so it's going to look a lot more modern than what it currently is. Of course, it's going to all on the ground floor level. It's going to have coffee facilities, study areas. It comes with cinema rooms, and probably one of the biggest gyms I've seen in a student accommodation on the ground floor as well. Now, what I do like with this developer, he is interested in keeping everything green, so like green moss walls we've seen on his previous projects, and rooftop gardens as well. I am a big fan of the rooftop gardens, so it's pretty much like the Hilton Hotel for students. Now, with this developer, which I think is important, he's had 5 or 6 projects now, all student driven, especially in the Stoke-on-Trent area, completed on nearly 200 apartments in Ormhouse in Stoke-on-Trent. Again, One London Road, which I think was just over 500 apartments in that particular area. Of course, he's well in bed with the council, so he knows where they need accommodation, and he's got an absolute goldmine of a spot there, right on the campus of that new innovation centre. He's also had a contract through the likes of Tesco. He's done a big supermarket and warehouses for them and built and constructed those. And I think what separates this developer from a lot of developers I've worked with is he's the site manager as well. Because of his dad and his previous history, he's basically grew up in the construction industry. So he's not just the developer, he's actually hands-on, on site with the development as well, which I think is important because he knows what he wants. He knows what type of finish he wants at that high standard. And it's good for you as an investor because it just means your students are happy. You're likely to keep the same tenant in there for a number of years, rather than looking at HMOs 25 minutes away where they've got to catch public transport into the university. It's right next door. So it's always going to be first pick. So the details of a student investment, so what responsibilities fall on your shoulders, etc. So when you buy this student property, because it is off plan and it's going to be completed in January 2025, so roughly 12 months from now, the building's already standing. He doesn't have to mess around with anything too structural. You will get a build warranty as well when it does complete of 10 years. That's the UK legal requirement now. So you get a build warranty of 10 years. That comes on completion. Now, there is a payment plan. So once you go through to the solicitors and the legalities, obviously the title deeds, etc., for the apartment that you want, you will be required to put down 50% of the purchase price on exchange of contracts via the solicitors. That's not through me, that's through the solicitors. You then get a 4% interest, and that starts when you do exchange contracts. So on that 50% you put down, you'll start receiving a 4% interest, which is deducted at the end of the build. 6 months after you exchange, you then required to put down a further 25% down payment, which again you receive an extra 4% on top of that 25%, followed by a final 25% on build completion in January. Now, at the end, it will be obviously taken off the 4% of that final 25% you put down. The 4% that you've accrued throughout the build time will be deducted from your completion payment. Now, we have this in place really with solicitors and developers, especially this developer. One, it adds an incentive to get the building complete on time, or if not sooner. or if there is a delay for the investor, they're still earning a return which comes off the property price, which I think is really important. So it just adds in that concrete confidence that the developer's going to get this done on time. As you're receiving an interest, all investors will be receiving an interest throughout the build period. Now, once you've reserved and you've secured the property, myself, along with the client care team here at Residential Estates, we will be handing you updates every single month, as well as with the site manager, which is the developer himself. Images, what deliveries have come through, what they're building next. Every single month you'll receive an update from our client care team. Now, we do hold your hand from the start to finish, right through the build, even on completion, because I do get the question, well, what is the exit strategy? The exit strategy is to another investor. And to make this plain and simple enough for you, rents increase. I mean, the rents per week now in Huddersfield vary from £180 a week upwards of £200 a week, which creates a gross return for this particular apartment around 11-12%. Out of that return, they then take out the service charge and their management fees, and whatever's left between that and your rental guarantee of 8.5% is profit for them. They then lock you in for 3 years, upwards of 5 years, and then they make profit every single year as and when the rents increase. We've had a bit of a freak year, around 8% growth in student rents pretty much across the UK, but if you act conservatively, around 4% growth each year is what your rents will increase. Of course, you don't feel that growth because you're in the rental guarantee period, so you simply get 8.5% every single year. Of course, at the end of the 3 years, you will then be in a position to either extend or renegotiate a rental guarantee with the same management team or a new management team, which we can help with, or you take full rents. Most investors do take full rents because it's likely you're going to be earning 10-11% net after the 3 year guarantee period, and that is the exit strategy, guys, because the rents increase around 4%. That means then after 3 or 4 years, if you did want to exit out of that property, the rents, let's say you're earning 9% net return, every investor in the country and even overseas are happy with an 8%, 9% net return, which would mean that you would then resell the apartment around sort of 95,000, and then that next investor would be receiving an 8% net return or 8.5% net return. And you can use companies like me. I do resell a lot of student properties. It tends to be people that are moving around in their portfolio or relocating to other countries where they need cash quite quickly. That's why they resell them, really. But other than that, it's basically sit on it, high return type of investment, and just let it tick away and earn you that income every single month. Now, the responsibilities, which I think again is important, the management team will run the maintenance of the communal areas, maintenance of the lift, because there is a lift in the building as well, and the rooftop garden. So they'll sort all that out. The students tend to go on for around a month, between 3 or 4 weeks every single year. That's really when they go in, starting inspecting apartments, and the communal areas are basically upkeep anyway every single week. Now, in terms of damages and repairs and things like that, if you get a student that damages your furniture, all students pay a deposit, just like any other tenant in the UK. So they pay between £300 to £500 deposit. That is likely to cover any damages during their period of staying at the apartment. If it doesn't and it exceeds that, let's say they damage your cooker and that's £1,000, the guarantor is the next step, which the management team will contact, which is likely to be the parent who they'll chase. So they deduct the deposit and then chase the parents for the other payment of the cooker. If they don't, then of course the management team will take out that course of action. But I think what's important for you is that it's completely hands off. I've never really seen it go that far in terms of damages or repairs to student property, because the stuff we sort of get involved in like this is high spec. It's not a property that, it's rag and ruins. People are coming in and out every 6 months. They tend to stay there for quite a long time with part-time jobs in the area. It is also good to mention as well that because the property is classified as commercial in the student market, it's commercial because of a number of reasons, really, because of the planning, is student, and secondly because of the facilities on site. So it's a property that you cannot mortgage. It's a cash stage purchase for this type of property, which means that you do not pay stamp duty on one property. If you're buying two, I think the threshold's £125,000. Anything over that, you pay the 3% stamp duty to the government. So if you buy 2 units, you'll get that 3% on anything over the 125,000, which isn't a lot anyway. So That's the purpose of student investment. It's perfect for the hands-off type of investor who just wants a solid rental income every single year without any worries with inflation, any worries about mortgage rates, because student property is not affected. The value of the unit is detrimental to the rent. If the rents increase, which we all know it has in the UK, so does the price of the property, and that's how student market works. And you would use companies like ourselves when it comes to resale. You could even advertise on Rightmove at any point, even in the guaranteed rental period. Say if you want to sell it in 2 years or even after 12 months, you would simply put it on Rightmove, or again come back to me and we can remarket it. The likelihood is the guarantee then passes over to the new investor who buys your apartment as well. But I hope that covers. I think I've covered everything, but if there's anything else that you want to talk about, give us a shout at the end of the clip, and we'll talk a little bit more into any of your questions, the ins and outs of it. What a lot of my investors do is set up limited companies and then leave the studio in the limited company ticking over an income, especially for those overseas investors, and then it builds that credit and that footprint in the UK for you to then leverage on and mortgage in the future. A lot of my overseas investors, especially in Saudi or in the Middle East in general, they'll buy 2 or 3 student properties in a limited company, and then they will then use that to leverage and finance buy-to-let property mortgages on other residential units around the UK. Because it's always good to break up the portfolio a little bit, not just all in one, and then take it from there. But yeah, I hope you've enjoyed the clip, guys. If you do want to drop me an email and you're interested in this, and especially more research on the area, which I think is really important with student research in the area, researching the development that's going on, because you can see it on the clip, the speeding on with the development of that Student Innovation Centre, which vision will fall in line quite nicely with it as well, as the students come into the new courses at the new university. But if you're interested, drop me an email at chris.smith@propertyinvestmentcontact.com, and then we'll take it from there, and I will send you the full information, including the letter from the main university, which again backs up the site as well. But yeah, hope you've enjoyed the clip. It's been a crazy Christmas and New Year. I know it's a little bit late when I've sent this video this year, but I will keep in touch with you. I will send you different property deals every single month. Thanks for your support again, guys. I really appreciate it. And yeah, hopefully be in contact soon. Thank you.